So I want to talk about a topic that, as much as the left or the side that's woke or the side that talks climate change and all that, they've been holding on to this, which is weird because it really doesn't matter to them. But they just took it on as, you know, I always think the left is open to stupid ideas more than the right. Stupid laws that aren't thought out, aren't worked out. So, like, for example, fake meat. They embrace that within seconds. If there was meat, they probably would have eaten it by yesterday. They literally have held on strong. They know nothing about it. They don't know any of the ingredients. They don't get how it's made. They don't even know Bill Gates is the only person who can make it, but they think it's okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
first of all, Bill Gates is not the only person who can make it. He's
Well, there's
not.
two companies, and he owns them both, dude. He major investor in both.
He wait. Let me ask you: who does he own? Or is he an investor in Impossible Meats?
Is he what?
Is he an
What?
investor in Impossible Meats?
No, he's
Okay,
invested
then there's
in
a company.
both companies
Then
that
how about
print the
Beyond
meat.
Meat?
No,
What about those? They're both fake meats.
but those are soy based. These are recultured cells. Totally
Okay,
different.
yeah,
Trust
I
me, in
understand.
the arguments, I've learned all this.
Okay, so
Oh,
here, right, right. Oh, you're talking. He's investors in two of the companies you know
the
of.
two companies that got approval by that FDA that's always out there to protect us.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't care about your
Yeah.
health.
He's involved in both of them.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
You smell that? Come
Yeah.
on. I'm beyond wheat meat, impossible meat. I
So
wasn't
here's the
against
so
them.
here's the thing. So you have to understand that there's been how many almost a decade of climate fear
Right.
on the left, right? So that's the first thing. Um, the second thing is the vegans and the vegetarians want to blame cows for the cow farts for climate change, right? When literally
Japan's pouring nuclear waste in
Al
the water.
Gore, Al Gore's single airplane probably outweighs that. I'm joking, it doesn't. Um, but the thing is that you've really they've really been laying down the groundwork for this, right? And so then now it's more opportunistic. I don't think it's this evil conspiracy. It's just, hey, we could make cultured cells. Okay, look, scientists will do whatever. I mean, if we learn nothing from Frankenstein, it's that scientists will do whatever they can because they can. They want to bring back the woolly mammoth. Like, is the world like deficient because the woolly mammoth isn't in it anymore? I
Right.
mean, so
Hey, there's more
scientists will
meat.
do. No, yeah, right. You kill one life and you could feed a whole village compared to grounding up a gerbil for a carrot. Um, so if you look at it, it makes scientific sense, right? I'm not against it scientifically to see
I
what we
want to
can do.
feed the world. I want to take care of Betty.
Yeah, but that's where I have a problem. If you want to do it scientifically and you think you can do it, great, go ahead, do it. But how many times have we tried to make man-made X and it's nowhere near as good as natural? Well, let's see why. Because nature had millions and millions of years to do it, and man spends what, 5 years, 10 years, maybe working on something. Like you can't compete. You can't compete. The Earth's been here 4.5 billion years. So you went 4.5 billion years to get to a point where nature is where it is. And all of a sudden, you're going to just pop out of your mother's womb and in, 40 years, just reinvent something that's been here for billions. It's never going to happen. It is
So,
just not going to happen.
so they say it's a cloned meat off of the
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah.
So that means that they could clone a cow and have you walking around and everything, eating grass like other cows. I'm not sure what that means.
No, no, no. You can. It's just clone cells. You don't
Yeah.
instantly go to sci-fi and bingo, you've got a cow. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I mean, they've cloned animals and they've struggled with cloning. I don't know why, essentially, what the issues are. They don't live long. Okay, great. I don't know enough about it. I haven't really delved into it because I really don't care enough about it. Um, but, um, but cloning cells is pretty. pretty easy to do. And
Right.
so you clone him and you basically try to eat the cell. So here's the main problem I have, well, there's two major problems I have with fake meat. Number one is every time we try to industrialize food, it pollutes the world more than if we were to just let cows roam around and eat grass the way nature intended. Number one, that's the number one thing. Okay. Um, so that's the first thing. The second thing is nutrition and damage. Nobody's gonna in the food industry, especially. I worked in the food industry. I came out with my name's on a patent for a system of keeping track of contaminated milk and
I
dairy
remember
plants.
that. Yeah.
Nobody gave a fuck, dude. Nobody about that. No one cared. Food. Now, if you're in the pharmaceutical industry and pharmaceutical manufacturing, the quality at that level is huge, right? Because the standards were set. For food, no one gives a shit about your food. Nobody cares. We'll just recall it. Really? How about we could know if there's going to be some trace before people get sick? We could know it. Well, we'll just recall it. If they don't care, no one cares about your food, right? Food, sorry, in quotes, right? As long as people will eat it, they'll sell it to you. So that's the whole food industry in a nutshell, no pun intended. So no one's going to do any testing. In 1975, when they came out with the new wheat, right, that everyone's got gluten problems with today, they didn't do any testing. They did no testing on that. Okay. So why would they do any more testing on this? I don't trust the FDA. They're useless. Um, I wouldn't trust anything they
Aren't
say.
they a bunch of food executives that the government
Pretty much, it's a
run?
it's a typical revolving door system, like everywhere else in the government, to where they go between industry and government. And if you come out of the FDA, you got an industry job. If you used to have an industry job, you got an FDA gig. They just revolving door it. And so it's pretty much the corporations pretty much run many of the departments in the government or infiltrated in those arenas, at least, because they have to look after their own financial interests.
So why do the pro fake meat people get so irritated that I won't eat it? I
I don't
don't get
know.
irritated. They don't
Dude,
eat.
why does anybody get triggered? Why does anybody get triggered these days, right?
Come on, give
Why?
it to me.
I'll tell you. So you started off talking about the left, okay? And you said, "Oh, the left comes up with stupid ideas more so than the right."
The right
Um,
does too, by the way. I mean, I'm saying
no,
that.
I mean, stupid ideas are there's never ending supply of stupid ideas. Here's the thing about the right. The right their ideas will come from like the Bible, right? Some ancient document. And that's where a lot of stupid ideas come from. I'm not religious, obviously. And on the left, stupid ideas come out of pure emotion, right? Wanting to react emotionally. And you're not thinking, you're emoting. And so doing X, whatever it is, the hell with the ramifications, feels right. Let's take an example of that. Going vegan. Okay. So forget all the nutritional problems that people have, but it's like there's no blood on your plate. Okay. So you look and you don't see any blood on the plate. Okay. In quotes. Um, they don't want to know what the farmer had to do to make how many lives they had to exterminate so that they could have their blood-free plate, right? So it's not really about saving any lives. It's not about that. It's about how they feel. And when you really boil it down to how people on the left only care about how they feel about something, then you understand why they come up with the solutions that they do. Because it's not about helping the homeless. It's not about saving animals or the environment. It's just how do I feel about those things and what can I do to make myself feel better? Otherwise, they would have been solving problems left and right, but they don't because they don't. It's about their problem isn't the homeless. Their problem is how they feel about the homeless. Their problem isn't about the fact that we have to eat animals, and animals have to die for us to survive. It's their problem is how they feel about that thing. Okay. And that's what they're trying to solve, not the problems. So when you look at these bad ideas, you have to ask yourself, what is the motivation? Why do people think that this is a good, that their solution to the problem? But you're thinking the problem is the homeless, right? And it's not. The problem is
I
how
think
they
you could help
feel.
the hungry. That's all.
Right, right.
Creating
And
meat.
that's not it. That's not it. It's how they feel
Right.
about the fact that an animal had to die.
Right.
A cute little animal had to die. What they don't realize is that far more animals die. Numbers of sentient beings have to die for every salad compared to my steak, right? Like you said earlier, if you had a big mammoth, right, you kill one being has to die, and it would feed me for 5 years, 10 years, maybe, right? One person, right? One death. Okay. Now, a vegan diet kills literally hundreds, if not thousands, every year. Now, if you want to say, well, a mammoth is worth more than a ground squirrel, okay. I mean, you can make those kinds of comparative arguments, but in reality is sentient being, right? They have a certain level of sentience, and you're extinguishing them, right? And it's not about that, but it's not about that. It literally isn't about that. It's about how do they feel about the fact that a sentient being had to die for them to survive. That's all they care about. And that's why all their solutions, fake meat, uh, is about, they don't care about the environment, dude. They don't. It's not about the environment. It's how they feel. The fact or nutrition, they don't care about nutrition. They care about how they feel. Everything on the far left, okay, not liberals. I'm not talking liberals here. Some
Right.
liberals, yeah. But as you move more and more left, it's more and more about feeling and not thinking.
Right.
So
Okay.
everything makes sense in that context.
All right. So let's stay on the topic of fake meat. What are you
Okay.
doing? Now, the reason I'm talking to you is because you're a carnivore. Okay. That's all you eat, 100%. So,
Yeah.
what are the things you're dealing with as we approach this era of, sorry, stupidity?
Nothing. Zero. I have no plans to do anything about it. But I'm gonna go to a butcher shop and buy real meat. It's what I do now, right? I go to the
Right.
meat section and I buy real meat. It's really clear that when you see Beyond Meat, I don't mistake Beyond Meat sausage for real sausage. I just don't. I if whatever you're eating has an ingredients list, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Okay, that simple. So mine doesn't have an ingredients list. It just is meat. So yeah, that's what I. Another thing is, you brought this up. If it ever gets crazy enough to where they pass legislation, which they very well could, that you aren't allowed to discriminate, if you will. That would be the word they would use too,
Right.
because that word has already been vilified. So has power in its vilification. If you were to if they were to pass legislation that said you're not allowed to discriminate between real and fake meat, then just buying something with a bone in it would be sufficient.
I don't even know if they're censoring so much.
It won't get there. It won't get there.
Oh, it
It's gonna.
won't.
It's yeah. Okay. So it's sort of like the hype behind driverless cars, right? The technology wasn't there, right? It's just not even close. Have you used Chat GPT? I mean, just the AI systems just aren't there. If you played a video game, all AI systems are flawed miserably because we don't have the appropriate technology to understand intellect. And since we don't understand intellect as a species, we're not going to produce intellect unless we have a child, right?
Right.
So I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. You're way more worried than I am, dude.
I I don't know because I know I can get it right off the farm.
Right. So
I
what are you
have
worried
farms
about?
all around me.
What are you worried about? What are you
I
worried
know.
about?
I started a list of places you can get real meat, and
What are you worried about? Like, what are you worried about?
people, nothing. I
Like,
mean,
yeah,
well,
you're.
You know what? It's like it's as bad as electric vehicles, as bad as a bunch of other things. I'm worried about, gas being outlawed and having to go electric and then
Right, right. But okay, I understand. But they're not going to outlaw meat. Not yet. They're not going to try to outlaw meat yet, right? They're just not.
who
So
knows? They've done some crazier
look,
things.
did you? I know. Look, like I'm in California. I got Governor Nuisance over here, like doing all kinds of crazy shit. So,
Corinne
yeah,
Newson,
I
oh my
get it.
God.
I get it. I totally get it. But the thing is that it's a little premature, and the technology's not there, and they can't do it in mass. They literally can't feed a family of four for a year on the stuff they're producing at the moment.
Now, not to
I'm
support
guessing,
fake
by the way.
meat, not to support fake meat, but to be honest, I like to always be honest when I talk. The Impossible Burger was the closest thing I ever tasted to real meat. They did a
Mm-hmm.
great job, but what did it take to
Look,
flavor that?
you can fool the tongue, but you can't fool the body. Okay, so you can get something that tastes like meat to the tongue and texture and even smell, right? You can fool those senses easy enough. But when the body tries to process it, it's not going to magically think it's meat. Oh, look at all these amino acids that are in here all of a sudden. No, you cannot fool the body. And the problem is with food is people eat food for taste. And that's the wrong reason to eat food. You should eat it for nutrition. And if you eat it for nutrition, you would never eat any fake meat. You would
Right.
never eat half
Well,
the
but I
shit
must
people eat.
say, the carnivore diet, I've been seeing more and more about it. It's going to
Yeah.
be a slow grow, but I really believe
Yep.
we're not
Yep.
done with this.
Oh no.
We're
No.
not. No. Excuse me. So I've seen it curing diseases and autoimmune
Yep.
disorders.
Yep. There's going to be a
Um,
point. There's going to be a point, Jack. There's going to be a point where people just so so this is the way it works, right? All these kinds of things, and you're like I don't know. I mean, this whatever this subject might be, you're like I don't know. You don't really want to go against the grain, so you sort of stand on the sideline and you go, I don't know about. I'm going to talk about climate change. Let's just pick that as an example. I don't know about this climate change thing. I didn't hear about climate change from scientists. I heard about them from politicians first, right? And I'm not sure, And then time goes on and you're like, man, this climate change shit is bullshit. This is bullshit. It's all just a big, boogeyman, the latest boogeyman, so that they can pass legislation and get things enacted to benefit those in power.
all
Right,
money.
right. It's all about that. And then you're like, yeah, it's total bullshit. So you stand in there like that, and all of a sudden, before you know it, 15 years, 20 years goes by, and everybody looks back and goes, it's total, yeah, yeah, like no one ever believed it, right? Here's another perfect example of where we've seen this happen, okay? So remember when the OJ trial happened, right? You could almost split like right down the middle. Whites on one side, oh, he's totally guilty. Blacks on the other side, oh, he's totally not, he's totally innocent, right? And now, if you ask most people, like just it doesn't even matter what nationality they are, they're like, oh yeah, that dude did it. That dude totally did it. Like everybody, and then they act as if they never were on the other side of an argument. And we
True.
all do this. I'm not somehow magically above it all. We
When
all
things
make this
fail,
mistake.
yeah, when anybody's beliefs fail, it quietly goes away.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
hear
Oh
nothing
yeah. How
about
about the
drive.
hole in the ozone? Let's go about the hole in the ozone. Okay. If you go and do the research, which I have done from time to
Yeah,
time, gee, how's that hole in the ozone come along? No one talks about that shit, but we solved it, right? We solved the problem by getting rid of CFCs. Okay. Hole's still there. Well, it's going to take a really long time. And you're like, really? Like, how many times did Al Gore tell us that like by 2007 or 2017, one of those dates, right? That it was irreparable, irreparable. You can't reverse it. I could go back through decades of those kind of predictions. We always forget that shit, right? Because we always have the new prediction to worry about. Well, that was it's all the new model comes out, right? So you have this year's model, and here's the new thing to worry about that's going to doom and gloom everybody, right? Like
right.
the global food crisis, which is the new thing, I guess. at least on YouTube and shit. So, well, there's going to be some global crisis thing, and now just everybody just constantly newspapers and anybody who wants you to click on their shit. They're always telling you how doom and gloom, something terrible is going to happen in the future, knowing there's no price to pay because no one remembers because there's a new doom and gloom to worry about. And like everyone's so focused on the new doom and gloom, they never look back to the old shit that everybody said that didn't come true because they got the new threat to
Right.
concern themselves with. And if you go back and look at most of this shit, it's just, you know, we make our own hell. We do. Humans make their own hell. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about this stuff.
All right. Well, let's see what happens. Only I always tell people time will tell. That's it.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants answers right now. What are your facts? Prove it. Show me where you saw it. I'm like, you know what? Take it easy. Time will tell on where this whole thing goes.
Right. But we got to keep what we got to do is we, as a society, and we won't, but what we should do is keep better track of the bullshit that people have told us. When we were kids, you remember population explosion,
Yeah,
right?
generations.
It's
The
going to
next
be,
generation comes
yes,
up, embraces
yes,
everything, drinks the Kool-Aid, you
right. And then
know.
there's, like I said,
Then they
they
grow
come
up.
every year, people come out with a new model, right, of fear at something, some tragic thing that's going to end all of humankind and going to impact you. And you need to listen to them. You need to watch their news show or buy their newspaper or read their magazine or read their blog now or click on the thing on the link or whatever. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. And so that's the if you go back to all the things that you remember Y2K, another favorite of mine,
Oh
right?
my gosh. Yeah.
And
I
you know what
felt
people
kind of felt
say?
for that one.
You did. I was going to go to your house on the New
Do you
Year's,
remember
and
where I
I was going to
went?
stand out. Yeah, you were in Vegas, I think.
No, I went to Big Bear up in a cabin.
Okay, so I was going to. I was joking the whole time. I'm, oh Jesus, I should go to Jack's house and just wait. You know, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just turn your power off. Stand outside your house and click, and you'd be like inside.
Yeah.
I knew
If it was
it. I knew
Tennessee,
it.
I would have shot you. But anyway.
Probably. But anyway, so, but the thing is Y2K was another big deal. And so I said to people, after Y2K, well, look, nothing happened. They made a big movie about it. They made a big what to do. And people go, well, that's because we spent billions of dollars to fix everything. And I go, what about all the countries who spent $0? Nothing happened to them. There's and dozens of these countries that spent no money on Y2K. Well, they're not thinking they're in the dark ages. They don't have computers. Of course they do. So
Right.
like it was so ridiculous, dude. And everybody instantly forgets it. They completely forget
So
everything that they
I
thought.
just want to set the story straight. You can eat the fake meat, anybody. I don't care. But you should appreciate I won't eat it and you shouldn't care. That's all.
Is that this whole video about? Was that
That's
what this
all
whole
this video
video
is
is
about
about?
is calm the frick down. Calm down because I don't like fake meat. Guess what? The majority don't. They just don't say anything. The majority support real meat.
All
They're
right.
like, I'm not buying it. They better tell us. But anyway, so I just wanted to pick your brain for a minute, talk fake meat. Look, but once again, just like wearing a mask, I still respect people. They can do whatever they want to do. It's their life. I'm not their parent. I'm not their boss. So do what you want, but I expect respect in return. That's all. But thank you very much for your input. And you have no problem getting meat. What do you do if you buy meat and you find out they slipped you some fake crap?
I don't know how that would happen, dude. I really don't.
Well,
Like
Walmart,
right
I know
now,
you don't buy at
you
Walmart.
can't you can't marble the meat. You can't
Oh
like
no,
they're not
you
going to have a
can
layer of
now.
fat on the outside.
Dude, they're
They're not
already
going to do
printing
any of that shit, dude.
bones. They're printing
They
bones now.
printing them.
Printing them.
So they're using 3D printer technology to try to produce
Yes.
a bone. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's
That's
anyway.
great, dude. That's great. But do you know how expensive that is? It is so expensive,
You
and
know they're not going to drop the price. This isn't a cheaper alternative. This won't drop the price of meat. This won't drop the price of fake meat.
yeah,
People
not going to
always
happen,
be
dude.
greedy.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's too expensive.
Right.
Really, you're going to print bone? It's
So
not going
let's
to
do
happen.
this. Let's wait a couple years and we'll revisit this and we'll
Yeah.
see how it turned out.
No, no, here's what will happen. We'll
Oh,
forget about it. It'll go away and we won't do a video on it because no one will give a shit. And we'll go, why would we do a video on that when no one's going to click on it? We're just as bad as everyone else, dude.
that's a great
Everyone's going
place.
to forget it.
That's a great place to end this. That's perfect. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Take care. Bye.